Like this, with this money giving all the time. In your places you never been before. Now it's filling up your head with love. Last one, but you know. Father, wanna fall down, big guy, big. And me not blow no trumpet yet. One by one, and there'll be no pause of the call. We not pause, we not ease up a time. But sick. Shoot out, shoot out. What let me say now? A circumstances in a free vote in a dirty government. Hey, Maureen, you listen to me? And you want to make it too far. You can't stop it. Nothing receive it. %, commitment to any
Call WhatsApp administrator plus phone call 7951705606. Alternatively, email admin@galaxy.
It can be rough in this world. I know it ain't easy, but hang on in there. Better days are coming. You see God, you see
morning, good morning, good morning. This is, get that music sorted out, huh? Good morning, everyone. This is the Motivator Show alongside Lady Chelsea. Although I haven't quite seen her yet, I know these young people, don't you worry, she'll be here on time. But it's good to see you all again, to hear you all again. It's the Motivator Show, where we translate our words into practice, action. Yeah, this is where it really happens. This is not just talk. This is where we ensure what we discuss is translated into reality. So that's what's going to happen today. But before I begin, let me give recognition, first of all, to our previous presenter, Ian King, who's taken us from night to day. Although it's a grey day here in London, I have got to say, I woke up in the dark. Oh, autumn beckoned. But Ian King, thank you. Thank you for your determination. And of course, it's important to give recognition to the visionary leaders here at Galaxy Radio. I want to give recognition and applaud to Chipa Kambabai, the visionary leader of Galaxy Radio. Recognize Elder Erakute, Dr. Mun, Abu Ratata, and of course, Nicole the Most Royal, one of the longest, if not the longest pilots on the station. And never forgetting, of course, the solutions finder, Empress Shanice. Oh, you can't beat someone who finds solution and follows through on those solutions. Yeah, that's what we need. More Empress Shanices. That's what we need. But equally, of course, I want to recognize all the pilots on Galaxy Radio for their dedication to the cause, a station wholly owned by the community. Therefore, information flow, it filters through our community. And therefore, it's real information, not the propaganda that you see in the BBC or the Sky or the Virgin or the other media platforms, that seek to disparage our people's and our community's contribution to this society and indeed to society generally. I give praise to Galaxy Radio and all those who support Galaxy Radio. And I equally give support to, of course, the organization which I believe will continue to make waves and change in the community, the Global African Congress, of which I'm a proud member. Because why? Change has got to happen. We want our children's future to be better than our future. So therefore, the Global African Congress, just like Galaxy Radio, is imbued with a vision to take our peoples forward, to make a rightful contribution to British society, European, and of course, African societies worldwide. That's a great vision, yeah? That is a great vision. And we must hold on to those visions, okay? Without visions, there is no hope. And I can assure you, there's ample hope out there. You've seen and observed and have felt some of our previous guests. They offer not only hope, but a clear path to progression. And without progression, there is nothing. There will be progression. Praise Jah. Yes, Rastafari. I feel so good today. I feel alive today. Yeah? Let me just go on. Let's give these all-important health messages. I was challenged, and I have been challenged regularly. Why do it, the motivator? They could be by other names, but let's say the motivator. I do it because we do not discuss our health enough. I say again, we do not discuss it enough. And I observe all too often, even in my own families, practices that can only lead to an early death, an early painful death. Yeah, we can do better. So teach one, we teach all. We have knowledge, we share it with all. So my little bit of knowledge I wish to share with you, as taught to me by the practitioners, the experts in the field. So I don't tell you what to do. I always advise, you must advise. If in doubt, speak to whoever you trust to give you nutritional advice. Just like medical advice, speak to whoever you trust who's suitably qualified to give you that medical or health advice. So I say to you, I want you to consider the amount of sugar that you're taking into your bodies, in your teas and coffees, in those cakes and those fizzy drinks, as it were. Yeah? Just think about the cumulative effect of putting small amounts of sugar in your body every day. Additional sugar, I might add, to what would normally be in the food. And think about the effect it will have, not tomorrow, or next week, or next month, or next year. Think about the effect it will have on your body next decade, or successive decades as you get older and your body is less robust and able to resist the harmful effects of excessive sugar intake. Similarly, for salt, I ask you to consider the amount of salt you're intaking. Think about those salty items, those packet of, you know what I mean, yeah? And those salt fish things that was incorporated, particularly here, us in the Caribbean, into our diet. And think about those ready meals. When you look at the packet, how much salt is contained in those ready meals. And I ask you again to consider the cumulative impact that they have on your body. Similarly, fat. You buy fat from the butchers quite often, integral to the meat that you're buying. Yeah, see these white streaks. Yeah, I ask you to consider how much of that fat you're ingesting. How much of these bottles of oil, you know? I ask you to consider the amount of oil or cholesterol you're ingesting into your body. And of course, equally consider how much exercise that you undertake each day. Yeah. If you're taking no exercise at all and you're healthy, you know what? Good for you. But you know what's actually happening inside your body? Your body is becoming weaker each day. It may not be noticeable, but it's absolutely happening. Because your body craves being exercised, being worked. And if you don't do that, it closes down. Don't believe me? Ask your doctor, ask your GP, ask any health practitioner. Exercise is the vital part of maintaining a healthy body. Exercise is mission critical. They also go on to tell you that you must consider, or increase, I should say, the amount of fruits and vegetables we take into our diet. It is mission critical that we continue to increase the amount of fruits and vegetables in our diet. You know, most of the great creatures of the world are actually herbivores. We are just one of the few creatures who are omnivores, who we eat both meat and vegetables, plant life. But that is where the real energy resides. You know, I've got one of my heroes, Lewis Hamilton, Britain, forgive me, the world's greatest Formula One driver, racing car driver. Okay, 7 times world champion, going for his 8th-time world championship right now. He is a vegan, an omnivore. Forgive me, a herbivore, get that right. That's what he is. Yeah. If it's good enough for Lewis Hamilton, I can assure you, it's good enough for me. And I'm going through the process of excluding meat from my diet. I'm just saying to the world, you don't have to follow me, of course. Seek your own medical advice and do what's right for you. But I do pray and hope that you will consider the implication of those excessive chemicals, which are a source of disease and contribute to reducing your body's ability to resist viruses and other maladies that pervade us around the world. It is mission critical that we consider our health at all times. Exercise is vital. Reduce the amount of salt, sugars, cholesterols that we take into our bodies. Yeah, upping the amount of fruit and vegetables that we currently consume. Exercising is vital, and as important, as my brother from Nottingham would remind us, not only must we take care of our physical health, we must also take care of our mental health. Indeed, uplift ourselves and take care of our spiritual health equally. And give yourself time in which you're able simply to settle and not be bothered by the cares of the world. Yeah, uplifting our spiritual strength through meditation, contemplation is vital, because it is proven time and time again that it boosts your immune response, boosts and heightens your feelings of well-being and happiness, stimulates intellectual growth, and ultimately, of course, gives you a sense of worthiness, wholeness, and oneness with the world. That's a powerful feeling. I commend this advice to you. And if in doubt, seek professional advice. But I am not a professional. But I am able to recite common sense advice to the masses. That I am able to do. Okay? But I always say to you, please seek professional advice to ensure you do what is right for you. But your health is of interest to us because you are part of our family and we want you to be healthy. I'm reminded of a speech given by the Vice Chancellor of the University of West Indies, Professor Hilary Beckles. And I note him because very recently, the University of West Indies is now a part of the 1% of the top universities in the world. There we are, the Caribbean. Yeah, not a particularly rich area of the world, has got one of the top universities in the world. And what Professor Hilary Beckles said is this: in the Caribbean, we have an epidemic of diabetes. Yeah, epidemic. Yeah, with all that sun around, all that beautiful fruit and vegetable around, we have an epidemic of diabetes. Excessive amount of sugars have been incorporated into one's diet. We need to stop that. We can and must do better for our children's sake. Anyway, enough of that. I hope the message has got through to you. Exercise, take care of your diet, think positive, raise your spiritual esteem, give yourself the lift up. Yeah. And if in doubt, go to someone who is positive and let them help you to lift up. Because you've been lifted up, you lift the entire community up. Praise Jah, Rastafari. Yeah. So let me move forward. I also want to give recognition to past contributors to the show. And we've had an interesting 2 months. I've had the pleasure recently to review those contributors to the show, and I've got to tell you, even if I may say so, I've been impressed by some of the contributions we've received these past 2 months, indeed the past year. And I believe we should do a show where we review the outcomes of some of those contributors in the past year. And of course, the most recent one, let's give a shout out to Kunle of the Empowerment Group. Yeah, let's talk mental health in the African community or Black community, wherever you like, whatever descriptor you wish to apply. Okay. And what he provided was an insight to Africans coming together, not for profit, not for profit, coming together and recognizing there are specific cultural issues to do with mental health, particularly here in Britain. And we must respond to that, yeah? We must respond. We have enough trained professionals who can respond. I'm a member of the Global African Congress's reparations, and reparations begins with self. Us organizing ourselves to respond to those maladies that pervade the community. And he is an example, and those professionals around him, those mental health professionals around him, are a good example of what is possible, okay? And what he was able to recite is that there's a whole range of psychiatric mental health services that his network are able to provide, yeah? I look forward to talk to him further, and I look forward to the concept of the mental health first aid course. When I have more details about that, I'll share those details with you all. But I look forward to more details about the mental health first aid course. I believe we all should take up that course because it not only will benefit ourselves as individuals, but will help us to help others who we see are approaching or pending crisis. We can solve our own problems. We just got to organize and be clear why we're doing this. Yeah, the family must be supported at all times by members of the family. Okay, that was last week. Prior to that, of course, we have this outstanding young son of ours, yeah? Derek, yeah? His new book, first book, new book. Yes, words are wonderful, he said. And didn't he speak so eloquently? For an 11-year-old boy, words are wonderful. And after yes, exclamation mark, you know, emphasizing words are wonderful. I spoke briefly to his dad earlier this week, and his dad is such an inspired father, so proud, you know. You saw him hug his son online. Was it wonderful? Yeah. All fathers should be doing that. Come on, dads, hug your sons. And of course, hug your daughters, but hug your sons. Stimulate their academic interest, yeah, in words, mathematics, science, astrology, and all the other wonderful sciences which are out there. We must be the game changers. Yeah. We are the game changers. Yeah. Dads, step up. Yeah. Step up. The women need us. And that father, who's also named Derek, was an example of what is possible. Well done, Derek. Junior, of course. Yeah. Well done. We look forward to more books from you. Yeah. We look forward to more books from you. Tell us, when is your new book coming out? Send a note to us. We will promote it and encourage the purchase of that book. Yeah. Let's refer to him as being our inspirational wordsmith. Yeah. Thank you, Derek. Thank you so much. And prior to that, of course, you will recall we had the members of the Global African Congress present, EU, yeah, that's the European region, okay, really reviewing progress since it was formed in 2002. Okay. A great deal has happened, of course. A great deal has happened. Lots of internal turmoils. Had to review the internal documents which are the foundation of the organization. Look at the structure of the organization. Consider the lessons learned. And plan for the future, a hopeful future. Okay. And I've got great ambitions for the Global African Congress. Okay. A group of inspired Africans who are more than likely to deliver on their chosen mandate of reparations. We don't say money. Reparations, I said earlier on, begins with self-repair. But there are other aspects to reparation which involve international governments and so on. Okay. But for now, it's about building the networks to belong to the Global African Congress UK. I would positively encourage you, if you're not a member of the Global African Congress, I would positively encourage you to join the Global African Congress UK. Right? I positively encourage you to do it. Just Google it, Global African Congress UK. And the website and the Facebook details will appear. I positively encourage you to join. Okay, positively encourage you so. But it is a great organization, a great family, a great family. And of course, prior to that, to the Global African Congress, we had this interesting local historian, Steve Martin, where we looked at 500 years of African history here in Britain and across Europe. It was a truly inspirational experience. And I look forward to Steve outlining to us details of his trips along the Thames, outlining the contributions that Africans have made to British society. Okay? And even in my own ward, my political ward, remarkably, we had Marcus Garvey living in my political ward. Oh, I am so proud. I'm so proud. Oh, and I see we have Lady Chelsea. Hello, Lady Chelsea. How are you? How are you?
I'm okay, thank you.
Oh, there. Blessed are the young, huh? Blessed are the young. Look at that smile, huh? How are you feeling this morning, huh?
Okay, I'm all right. It's cold. It's very cold.
Don't you worry. It's all good. I've got all the energy for you. Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna rev up those batteries for you. Yeah. All right, cool. I'm alive. We're growing. We will be successful. Huh?
Yes.
Oh yes. With certainty, we will be successful. She said. It's good to see you, Lady Chelsea. Don't you worry. It's all good. It's all good. All right. It's all good. Now then, so Lady Chelsea, I've just gone through the health messages, and I've also been able to give an indication of past contributors who have inspired the listeners, and judging by the feedback I've received, it has been fantastic, I must say. Positive feedback. But before I hand over to you, Lady Chelsea, I did want to give one more shout out. Those listeners and others who are regular listeners will recall on the 14th, Saturday the 14th of August, we had a show which focused on education, but from the point of view of the practitioners, okay? And the practitioners written a book, okay? And you call Joan Green, okay, of Brighter Tuition. That's the website, brightertuition.co.uk, okay? How to pass the 11 plus and other examinations, okay? Given sound advice to parents in the community, how to pass the crucial, life-changing examination, okay? And her book is an authoritative review of how to achieve that outcome. Now, I understand from Sister Joan, and in fact, her book is now an Amazon bestseller.
Oh, wow.
Oh, my gosh.
Well done.
We contributed to creating an Amazon bestseller. Okay? Wow, a company now worth more than $1 trillion. We have contributed to a book becoming a bestseller. Can you imagine, Lady Chelsea?
That's really good.
Outstanding, absolutely outstanding. And Sister Joan, much love to you, much love to you, much love to you. And of course, what I'm going to try to do, if I can, I'm going to try and get Sister Joan into my political ward, okay? My ward, of course, is North Walworth. We've got a lovely library. I hope to organise a book signing opportunity in my local library for Sister Joan, okay? Let's give her more publicity, because we want more and encourage more of our practitioners to produce materials for the community, okay? And lastly, I should give a quick shout out for Brother Near of the National Association of Black Supplementary Schools. Let me repeat it. The National Association of Black Supplementary Schools. He's a stalwart in the community, and his continuous call out is this. If you are an organizer and of a Saturday school or supplementary school managed by our community, please ensure your school is recorded on the National Association of Black Supplementary Schools website, so parents can find you. That is our clearinghouse for details of where to find your local supplementary school, your local Saturday school managed by the community. I say it again, National Association of Black Supplementary Schools, okay? I positively encourage parents and guardians to review the website. Go to that website, and if there is a Saturday school near you, I urge you to give support to those Saturday schools, because your sons and daughters, your nieces and nephews, your granddaughters and grandsons will most certainly benefit. Not only do they provide academic support, but cultural and traditional support. So a child is rooted in their community and have some understanding of their own history, not simply the kings and queens of Britain, but understand our history from our point of view. Okay, so the National Association of Black Supplementary Schools website is a vital clearinghouse for that type of information. It's a positive shout out to that organization. And I hope Brother Nears is listening. I only say to him, praise Jah, Rastafari, long may you continue with your great works. And I look forward to talking to you sometime during the week. Now, if I can Lady Chelsea, hand over to you for that special section. And I hope, we've got to think about for the young Derek as well. But anyway, I'm handing over to you. There you go.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay, yeah. So here's a section where we are doing the competition.
You're a bit faint.
Is that louder?
Oh, that's better.
You hear? Okay, cool. All right. This is a section when we do the competition. This is for the children, and it's also promoting young Malachi's book, a young man who wrote a book at the age of 14 called Tutankhamun, The Tale of the Adventurous Boy King, with the support of his mother, Sister Sekhmet, who we celebrate every week. And yeah, so the prize is £25 and the book that I've just read out. So we have 2 questions, same as usual. 1 question for under 10s and 1 question for 11 to 16-year-olds. So I'll read out the numbers so everyone's ready, and then I'll read the questions. So the number is 020 348 152 40. Then you'll be asked for a PIN number, which is 370 733 4397, and it's followed by the hash key sign.
Which is a vertical and horizontal line, people. I know she
Yeah.
doesn't like to say that. I say it.
As long as you say it, it's fine.
Okay.
Okay, so the first question is for children under 10. Let's turn the volume up. Cool.
Question 1. How do you spell Tutankhamun?
So that's how do you spell Tutankhamun?
And that's for those under 10. Okay.
And then 11 to 16-year-olds.
11, 16.
Question 9. Who or what did the people of Kemet worship during the time of Tutankhamun?
So that's who or what did the people of Kemet worship at the time of Tutankhamun?
Okay. And definitely whilst they are considering that particular question, let me give out the numbers again. So for mums and dads, boys and girls, this is for you. Although the boys and girls are the ones that should really phone, not mums and dads, or granddads, or cousins. Gotta say that. Okay, the number to call, if you can respond to those questions, it's 0203 481 5240. You're asked to enter a PIN number. It's 3707 33 43 97, followed by the ash sign. That's the vertical and horizontal symbols on your keypad. Okay, there you are. We look forward to parents encouraging your sons and daughters to respond to that question. I know it's early. But I always found that those who are, likely to go far are usually up at this time. Huh? Oh, yeah, After all, I recall being that age and not one day we go to bed, let alone, anything else. But also recall staying in bed quite late. But I was always conscious, when I was going to my junior school, I always had activities,
Yeah.
And yes, I had to go to Saturday school as well, I might add, And after that, we did sports, then went back to further classes, but I did chess. I love playing chess,
Okay.
So I could play chess another 2 hours, which was great, So the first 3 hours was really school, the Saturday school, followed by games, and then followed on by chess, There you go, right? I always found chess to be an intellectual exercise because it allowed you to think very carefully and think of number points in front. In other words, you've got a plan, you've got to strategize, And that was a good piece of mental exercising. And I would encourage boys and girls to take up chess. Really would. Anyway, Lady Shelter, we've given out the numbers. Parents, encourage your sons and daughters to call. We want to see what we could do to encourage sons and daughters to call, but also think about both Manakai's book and also Derek's book. Words are wonderful.
Yeah.
And maybe we should also speak to Derek's father, parents, and let's see if we can get a few questions from him as well. In fact, I've discussed earlier on organising a book signing ceremony for Sister Joan.
Yeah.
The opportunity to have both Derek and Malachi sign their books in a public library. That would be interesting, wouldn't it?
That would be good. Yeah.
It would be good, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Inspiration just come to me today. And that's feasible. That is more than possible. I could do it for Sister Joan. Why could I not do it for young Derek and Malachi?
That's true. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You keep reminding me, Lady Chelsea, on that one.
Okay.
That's a brilliant idea. When was the last time you saw or encountered a boy or girl from our community signing a book because it's now for sale in a local library? Has that ever happened to you?
No, I don't really see book signings in general. So no, I haven't seen
Wow.
younger people do it. We do book signings.
Let's do it. Okay, I like the idea.
Yeah, I'd say I think that would be
Absolutely. Okay, folks, you've inspired me this morning. I feel inspired this morning.
Yeah.
Let's do that. Let's do that. Can you imagine 2 African boys at a local library signing their books? Yeah.
Yeah, that would be good.
That'd be a powerful message, huh?
Yeah.
It would defy those who suggest that our boys cannot do well at school, huh? Yeah. It would change the paradigm, create a new narrative when discussing an African child and their academic ambitions and capabilities. Huh?
Yeah.
The whole purpose of this show is to change those narratives, to empower. Huh? Oh, yeah. I feel so empowered. You hold me to that one, Lady Chelsea.
Okay.
Okay. Parents, we're still looking out for you. Boys and girls, we're looking out for you. Come on, call in. I'll give out the number again. It's 0203 481 5240. That's the number. Followed by the PIN number. It's 3707 33 43 97, followed by the ash sign, the vertical and horizontal lines on your keypad. Okay. Oh yeah, that's been a very useful experience. Even if others are not inspired, I definitely am inspired. And when I'm inspired, it's nothing going to stop me. All right, nothing going to stop me. Right. Just so you know. Right, there you go. Oh yeah. I feel so good, Lady Chelsea. Oh, yeah. I feel so powerful today. Yeah?
Yeah. I can see.
Cover you. What, are you cold or something over there?
It's freezing. I have a cold and it's freezing. I'm cold.
Young people. Oh, my God. You've got to surround yourself with those positive energies. Yeah?
Oh, goodness.
Lift that spiritual
to make me warm.
Okay. Spiritual creatures. Yeah?
Okay.
Yeah. Create your own heat. Yeah. Create your own momentum. Yeah. We are the change makers. Huh?
Okay.
Oh wow. What's wrong with that? Huh?
No, there's nothing wrong with that.
Okay. Well, I'd have to keep true to you. I'd have to keep true to you. But parents, boys and girls, we're looking out for you. Because I've got to say, as we wait for them, and if there's none this week, that's fair enough. Don't worry, we understand. Don't worry, we find other ways and other opportunities. I just want to talk about, if I can, Lady Chelsea, our guest for today.
Yeah.
First of all, I was unaware until very recently that we had in our community, first of all, I'm aware that we have artists in our community, of course. What I very rarely see are artists who use metal as the basis to create art. That is their channel, their artistic expression, okay? And of course, behind us both, we've got an example of a master metal sculptress.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going to refer to her henceforth. And I hope she won't mind that title. Master metal sculptress, okay? Born of our community. I know from and hails from Nigeria, great Nigeria. Okay. And I was so impressed when I went through this particular artist's work. They're numerous and they are outstanding. And I hope I can acquire some, purchase some for myself. But I don't have any at the moment in my home. I look forward to this. And what's so particularly important is that this artist is internationally acclaimed. Okay. This artist is someone who's achieved far more than the average, but is still young. And when we encounter her today, you know, just listen to her voice. you know, how young she sounds. Because the spirit is with her, you know, the energy is there, you know, the energy to create, that creative energy is so powerful in her. You're going to hear her soon. You will hear her soon. Okay? So I'm really blessed when I've discovered the greatness of this particular artist and why it was absolutely the right thing to do in the first Saturday of so-called Black History Month, for it to be a creative person, an inspiration to us, who is featured on our show today. Okay, as it's now 8:45, I just wanted to first of all check if our guest has arrived. SOKARI, are you present?
Yes, I am. Yes.
Oh, your voice is very soft. Come on. Louder for us, a bit louder. Oh, okay. How are you feeling this morning?
Tired this morning.
But
happy to talk to you, Martin.
Thank you so much. We are honored that you found the time to be with us today. Okay. I've said that you are a remarkable artist. So I'm now crowning you as an African master metal sculptress. I hope you don't mind that.
Actually, you're not allowed to say sculptress.
Ah, tell me why.
Because you wouldn't say prime ministeress. It's now sculptor.
Oh,
like you say actor.
Oh,
yes, that's where we
listeners,
are.
that Tony is young.
Martin.
I agree with you.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you for that correction. Thank you for that correction. Wonderful. But I'm going to refer to you as being master metal sculptor. Okay. That's what I'm going to say. Why? Because you're one of a few. Okay. And what you're doing is leading the pack. Okay. And we're privileged that you are a local person based here in London, based here in South London. And oh my gosh, we only live a mile apart. Can you imagine? There must be something in this great mile of ours where I'm discovering that there's remarkable talent, outstanding talent in the community within a mile of my residence. I am truly blessed. And SOKARI, we are honored to have you here this morning. And thank you for finding the time.
Thank you for inviting me.
Just a few questions for you, and I'm going to hand over to Lady Chelsea in a moment. And I just want to begin to ask a question which has been bugging me for a little while. Okay. Why use metal as your artistic expression? Why not simply, my daughter, for example, uses clay, plasticine occasionally, but certainly clay. My other daughter uses paint as an artistic impression. My others use paper mesh. Why metal, of all things?
Well, when you go to art school, you get given a lot of opportunities. And I guess the opportunity of using metal came up in art school. But before getting to art school, I, of course, liked the idea of carving. So I actually spent a little time with a royal carver in Nigeria in my youth, in my 20s. It's the aim was to make sculpture. And the wonderful thing about metal is that little tiny things can hold up huge things. It's a powerful material to use, and it needn't be heavyweight metal. You know, it needn't be girders for a ship or something that you work on. We wear metal every day. The fact that we have earrings or bracelets or whatever, it's a very, very familiar material, and I'd almost say feminine material, but you know, the impression is that it's, you know, tough and powerful, but it needn't be. You know, I use lightweight sheets to make my work. I have used heavier sheets, but you know, it is like having a sheet of paper and cutting patterns out, as one of your children likes to do, working with paper. So I treat it like that. I treat it as a fun, very versatile material.
It's a difficult material to work with, though, doesn't it? It must be quite difficult, isn't it?
I think housework is more difficult. Yeah.
I hear you. That's
Yeah.
right. I hear you.
I prefer metal.
Oh, very good report. Yeah. Lady Chelsea, I know you.
Yeah, I just wanted to know who your main artistic influences were.
My main artistic influences, I think my influences are dance and theatre. When I was very young, I came across someone that was a choreographer. This is a woman that puts together dance pieces, and she took traditional Nigerian festivals. She went and looked at them, and then she put them on the stage. And I thought that transference from you know, something traditional to the stage was just so fantastic, because it brought it's like bringing a story onto the screen, you know, or yeah, into film. You know, so I was influenced by this lady because she brought traditional Nigerian things onto a contemporary stage, and I thought, well, I could bring masquerade characters that I saw as a child in town squares and things into a gallery. So that was my original kind of push for conversation in an art gallery.
Can I ask you, SOKARI, is that in this country or in Nigeria?
Well, I was born in Nigeria, and so this lady I met in Nigeria as a child, and I saw what she was doing. I'm a child of the 60s, you know, independence, egalitarianism, the fact that we had traditions and things that we could now bring to the world as Nigerians was a big deal and a big influence on me as a child, because anything was possible, but from the stance of being the new identity I was, which was Nigerian.
Okay. If I may ask you, when you say festivals and traditions, maybe you can give us, highlight maybe one or two of them for us, just so we can fully appreciate. Because there are many listening who are learning from you. Okay, so give us some idea of some of the traditions that influence your work. Because we've got a few behind us right now, and others will put up on the screen. But give us a taste of what you mean by traditions.
Where do I start? Well, I'm Kalabari, which is you know, people that live in Rivers State.
Yes.
There's over 250 languages in Nigeria. My people speak Kalabari, and we have the tradition of a young girl maybe starting off life with beads. This is back in the day. You know, you'd start off with just beads, or just knickers, or hardly any clothes, and you'd wander around my hometown, which was Buguma, and there were no cars. Our transport was boats, and then you'd graduate to a single wrapper, and you cover yourself with that. And of course, we weren't that traditional, and that I had about 4 frocks when I was little, made of Ankara, you know, sewn by local tailors or whatever. But it's the thing of different kinds of dress that women wear that I was very, very attracted to and wanted to document, because it showed you the different stages that you went through in becoming a woman. Because when you did turn into a woman, you wore 2 bits of cloth, and there were kind of with a lacy blouse. And in my research, you know, you find that these lacy tops, the lace is actually made in Manchester, of all places, you know.
Oh, wow.
And some of the cloth that we consider to be traditional Kalabari cloth, which is injiri, is actually woven in Bangladesh or somewhere. And these cloths that Kalabari people are attracted to also something that is worn in the Caribbean, and it's called plaid. And plaid is a kind of tartan grained patterned material that is in Madras and is in the Caribbean, and Kalabari people and Sierra Leoneans are attracted to this, and, you know, use it as a cloth to wear to signify all sorts of things.
Yes.
We actually have a pattern of Madras cloth that we call epe, that belongs to my compound group. So when you say culture and tradition, tradition is quite global, you know. It's a bit like the British claiming tea. You know, tea isn't grown here.
Indeed.
So, you know, culture is a fantastic thing.
Yeah.
And it influences my work, and I pull different strands of it to express what I want to say. So I don't know whether I've answered your question.
Fascinating, fascinating. And I'm very conscious, you see, that children here are not fully aware of these traditions, or they're not taught sufficiently, you know. And yes, it is taught in families, but ultimately it's experts, those who are trained to teach, should teach. And I want to encourage that amongst those who are examples of true talent. And if I may say so, you are an example of true talent, if I may say so. Come on. And we need to just think about this. This is, what you've described is pretty powerful. But it comes out in your work. Okay? And if I can detect it, then it must be present, you know. But I'm not that particularly artistic, but I can see it in your work, you know. And as I said, it's behind us right now. And it would be really useful. I'm going to turn on camera 2, and I'm going to ask you if you could tell us in producing this piece of work, what were your thought processes? What's the message you want to communicate? Okay, and I'm interested to see how this works. If we can make this work without any technical hiccups, of course, would be nice, wouldn't it? That'd be nice. There we go. Let's get this in there. Oh, there we go. Hopefully it will come up in a second. There we go. It's come up.
Okay.
And let's adjust this minor part here. There you are.
Oh my goodness.
Can you see that all right?
Yeah, I can see it very well.
Okay. So tell us about this scene.
Well, this piece is called Europe Being Supported by Africa and America. And it came from surfing the internet and discovering William Blake's drawing, which has the same title. And in his drawing, the pose is exactly like this. And Europe is in the middle. And Europe is being supported by someone that's black, obviously Africa, and then someone that's brown, which is the Americas. And I decided that Europe is still being supported in this way today. You know, from way back in Blake's time, which was the 1900s, that the 1900s? Anyway, William Blake, very famous artist that people should look up because he was incredible. So this work came up because I wanted to illustrate that the same story goes on. Europe is still being supported. And in Blake's drawing, he was actually trying to explain that we were all equal. Which is funny because the European in the middle of his drawing has a pearl necklace and she has beautiful blonde hair and her privates are covered by her hair. And the garland in the middle of the sculpture is what covers the privates of the two supporters that are holding up Europe. So they don't even give them the grace of hair or a cloth or anything, just this kind of leafy garland goes across the two other women that are supporting Europe. And I've used the garland in my sculpture because I wanted to talk about oil and the power that is oil, because oil is Nigeria's base and Nigeria's curse. And it is, you know, the powers that be that enable us to be in the situation that we're in Nigeria as far as oil is concerned. And I wanted to mention that because it's not equal. The kind of oil extraction that goes on in Nigeria wouldn't be allowed in the North Sea.
Most certainly.
And the pollution that happens in Nigeria from flaring affects the ozone layer in Australia.
Yes.
Breaking up the ozone layer in Australia. But we all know that, you know, our environment is a problem, but there are certain ways that different countries are treated with us sending our waste to Asia, you know, to name one thing that goes on politically, something that we wouldn't deal with, yet we send it out to somebody else to deal with, as if their environment doesn't matter. So my sculpture gets onto a political bandwagon, and I don't know what to say. I'm not ashamed of it. I think it comes from being of a generation that appreciated Fela Alipokuti, who would, you know, put out good rhythms, but also give you good advice not to change the color of your skin and not to be a zombie. So I'm very aware and reasonably lively, and I like talking about Nigerian traditions just because I'm proud of my family, I'm proud of my heritage.
Thank you.
So
thank you.
The women here wear geles, and
I hear you.
yeah, lacy tops, and they have cloth that you would find in Nigeria that comes from all over the globe and is made in Nigeria as well. And I've William Blaked them to talk about the oil situation. Blake's three women were talking about the slavery situation, and we are slaves to oil.
Thank you, thank you. And notice how a single object stimulated such a very detailed response. People, listen to this, you know, there's words in these powerful sculptors. Thank you. Let's go to the next one.
Ooh.
Okay.
Oh God, this is an old piece of work. We have a masquerade called Alagba.
Repeat the name, please.
Sorry?
Repeat the name, please.
Alagba.
Alaba.
Yes, Alagba. Masquerade. And it starts off the masquerade season in my home city, Buguma. And Alagba is a female masquerade, and she starts off a 17-year cycle of masquerades coming to play for kind of human beings. And our masquerades are put together by a male secret society. Anyway, they dance for the whole town, and there's drumming that they have to be able to navigate, and that they have to understand drum language and be able to point to different areas that the drummer tells them to point to, as well as dance to the rhythm of the particular masquerade they're performing about. Alagba has a huge feathered headdress, and the only way you can supposedly tell it is a female masquerade is that it has a slit in the back of the headpiece that is kind of convex, goes in like this. And Alagba is dressed up with anklets that make a noise so that the drum has a certain rhythm, and then these anklets can be a kind of percussion rhythm on top. And Alagba has kind of sticks that it holds, that it points in various directions, and it's just a really graceful masquerade, and I'm very fond of it. But this piece, Alagba in Limbo, was made at the time when Ken Saro-Wiwa was killed, and I just felt that Nigeria had missed a beat, misbehaved so badly. I kind of lost my love for a lot of things when Ken Saro-Wiwa was killed. Ken Saro-Wiwa was an environmental activist, in fact, Africa's first environmental activist.
Yes.
And he was also a writer. He made sitcoms that were on television in Nigeria. And he wrote the first book in Pidgin English, actually, for the whole continent. And Alagba in Limbo is the men carrying Alagba off. This would only happen really if a masquerade is disgraced somehow, or missteps, or doesn't know where to point to. There are instances when a masquerade is carried to rejoice that he's been so fantastic, but in this instance, there's a mishap that's happened, and the guys carrying the masquerade seem as if they're sort of wailing, really, just because something terrible has happened. And that was what was behind this piece when I made it a long time ago.
Powerful. As I reviewed your work, I could feel the spiritual content. I knew that there was a great deal to be said in each of these works. And wow, this recording is here for life. You realize that now, Sky? This is here for life. A beautiful description, and very, very informative. I know that there are Satis schools across Britain and beyond who will, I'm sure, recite what you've described to us today. And thank you for this magnificent piece of work. And I'm assuming it's a one-off. It's going to be difficult to reproduce it, I suppose. Huh?
All my work is one-off.
Indeed. Wow. Gosh. Thank you. I noticed we have a caller. I don't normally take calls at this point, but I'm conscious that I'm told I don't give enough time for callers, but I enjoy the guests so much. But I see that we've got a caller with number ending 2911 on the line. Good morning to you. Caller with number ending 2911? No? In that case, then we can always come back to that caller, don't you worry. Let's go on to the next picture. This one. Cool. As I say, you produce so many sculptors, and gosh, this one struck me. Now, tell us about this one, please.
Okay. This is called All the World Is Now Richer.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Your caller's back.
Oh, my caller. Caller 2911. Do you wish to say anything at this time? If not, you can simply listen if you wish. If you're going to listen, you might just want to put your phone on mute, just so that we don't hear any feedback. SOKARI, go ahead.
Okay. So this is a picture of my sculptures in a corridor between a sort of lobbying area in the House of Commons.
Oh, right.
And it's an area that lobbyists would walk through to go and talk to people from the House of Lords or the House of Commons. And it's a corridor that would normally be used for putting up very worthy posters about all the angst that we have as human beings, you know, multiple things that the government needs to know about would normally be put up in this gallery area.
Mhm.
And I was lucky enough that my sculptures were in there, in that spot, in 2010.
In 2010.
Nearly 11 years ago.
Wow.
But the striking thing is that these sculptures are about the saga of slavery, and they are in the most opulent space you could possibly be in our country, which is the House of Commons. You know, look at all the carving and gilded emblems and paintings and things that surround these figures. And these figures are supposedly slaves, because this is a piece about the abolition of slavery. And these sculptures have been in St. Paul's, another opulent, fantastic building. They've been in Bristol Cathedral. They've been in an amazing hall in Liverpool. They've been all over the world, actually. They've been in Venice. And funnily enough, they've also been in Tooley Street, Southwark's offices.
Oh, right, in the town halls here in Southwark. In
Yes.
fact, I recall seeing them indeed.
Yes.
And I suppose it's not evident from this picture, but these are actually life-size statues, the sculptures, so right? These are actually life-size, am I right?
Well, all the sculptures that I've spoken about so far are life-size, but these are a little bit bigger than life.
Wow.
The man with the machete
Yes.
is, how tall is he? I work in centimeters, but he is about, 7 foot something.
7 foot,
Wow.
2 meters,
So,
oh my
so
gosh.
he towers above you.
Wow.
And he's made of sheet steel, which I've cut up and molded and stuff.
Yes.
And he was inspired by the ex-slave William Prescott, who
Yes.
said,
Yes, yes.
they will remember that we were slaves, but they won't remember that we were brave. And I was so struck by that because, living as we do together in London, especially in Southwark, there are so many. Does this person want to speak?
Yes, I'm going to ask if the caller on number ending 2911, can you put yourself on mute? Please put yourself on mute. I'll put them on mute, don't you worry. It doesn't mean that they can't. I've done it. Don't worry, I've taken care of it. Go ahead.
Okay. Okay. I was inspired by William Prescott because all the people around me that are Black are wonderful, beautiful,
Yes.
and I couldn't understand why that appreciation wasn't out in front of us, really, because we have a heritage that is so powerful, and the saga of slavery is incredible, basically, because through sugar plantations and the transatlantic slave trade and our Caribbean brothers and sisters and things, we have the city of London, which is created from the wealth from slave trade.
My blood.
And
Yes.
of course we have Bristol and Liverpool, incredible cities, and country houses and things that were built because of slavery, because of the wealth of slavery. So you just think, well, I mean, these people survived and they were brave, and it's because of them that I have all the things that I have today. It's because of them who had African heritage that, I have such pride in the people that I see around me. So I had words that went with the characters that I made. And the first man, I have words that went like, from our rich ancestral life, and then the man with the machete, we were bought, sold and used. And then the girl who's a maid, we were brave. And the Creole woman, we were strong. The man in the business suit, we survived. And then there's the sixth man who is in a t-shirt and jeans and very 21st century. And his words are, all the world is now richer because of this saga. I mean, we're brave people, and we should be commended and commemorated. And this sculpture should be cited somewhere on the street. But I've been fighting for that for about 10 years.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And I know you've got much more to say about these figurines. As I said, these are life-size, in fact, bigger, as you say, and the man with the machete is 2 meters tall. Gosh, that's a magnificent piece of work, all made from metal. I want to get onto that in a moment, but I just want to go through one more picture, if I may. What's the thing here? Tell us about this one. So I've been through hundreds of your work, and I've only picked out those which, for some reason, I felt a sort of spiritual impact straight away. This one had a spiritual impact for me. Explain this one to me, please.
Oh, I don't know. Even though I go after kind of tough rhetoric, I have humor in my work as well, just because as tough as anybody is, you have to laugh to survive, really. And this is from a famous painting in the Sistine Chapel of God creating David, and I've made a godlike rendition of the painting, made with oil barrels, and the reason that I got to use oil barrels was because my local garage that does my MOT, the chaps in the garage kept on giving me their excess barrels to take They'd call me up and I would recycle these things for them. Anyway, so these are Walworth barrels, and I was commissioned to make this piece by a curator in Germany, and I just had a lot of humor about it, just because if you look in detail at Michelangelo's God, he's of course looks white, bearded, and he points his finger to create David, and lots of artists have used this thing because, it's the magic of the touch of God. But in God's kind of cloak, there are all sorts of faces and people that seem to be swimming across the sky with God, and some of them look evil, and the kind of my kind of take on this is that God comes with all sorts for us. And I think at the time the Chibuk girls were in everyone's thoughts, and so I've got kind of Chibuk-like girls embedded in the cloak that is coming towards me to create me if I was David. And the whole thing is able to float because it's on oil barrels, and it's just conversation about the creation and what we create and what God has created. There's good and evil that has come.
I've got absolutely no idea how you could have created this. Got to tell you, got no idea whatsoever. I can't even begin to conceive how you could have shaped those metals into these sort of life-size forms and to be so dramatic. No idea how you did that, but I won't get into that. I'm going to do one more if it's okay with you, and then we might just go this one.
Oh,
wow.
sweet.
Come on, tell us about this one.
This is influenced by another great artist, Botticelli. Botticelli was a Renaissance artist, Italian, and he did the most beautiful painting that I saw in my teens called Primavera. And Primavera has all sorts of characters. There are the three graces in there. There's the origin of Venus de Milo in there, and the Venus de Milo and Michelangelo's, Botticelli's work influenced the design of the emblem used for Shell, the Shell emblem, Shell Petroleum used Botticelli's research or work to come up with that design. And there also happens to be this wonderful figure who's known as Flora in this particular painting as well, except I've called her Primavera. And she has been Africanized just because I can. And so instead of being a blonde, she's definitely a brown, and she's got a gele on, and she has flowers all over her because that's what Flora looks like in the painting. And I've added little cars to Flora's costume just because at the time I was enjoying playing with my niece's boys in Swanley, and they have all kinds of toys that are rather beautiful. In Botticelli's painting, the flowers could actually be named by people just because people knew about plants back in the day. But now I guess we know more about cars, and I found that quite humorous in my studio. So I decided to add these cars so that people could look at this piece and point at the different vehicles, as in Botticelli's they could have pointed and said what plants were in the painting. So she's made of very filigree like lace costume, and
this is all metal though.
It's all metal.
Wow.
And it's done with a tool called a plasma cutter, and it's just makes you very capable. So here we are, Flora, but she's called Primavera.
Wow.
That's very
and
good.
this is life size again.
Yes.
Oh my god.
A bit
That's
over,
amazing.
I'm 5 foot.
Oh, sorry.
But she's taller than me. Doesn't take much to be taller.
How long did it take to create something like this? How long did it take from beginning to end?
Well, it used to take about a month or so, because I work on my own, and it takes time, to cut out each flower and shape it, and to cut out the fabric that I want to dress people in, and to decide what colours and things to use. But the hysterics in the studio is actually making the things stand. The large machete man nearly fell on me several times.
But you survived.
There's a lot of amusement in steadying things. I quite like that.
Oh my gosh. This is entirely made out of metal, and you're telling me this really complex piece of work took a month.
Yeah, a month or so. I work every day. This is my daily kind of job. So I do have a schedule. I really love working. And if I have an exhibition or something that's about to happen, or commission that has to be completed, I work all sorts of peculiar hours. And you know, the week is wonderful. Every day with a Y can be used to work.
I understand.
That's
I understand, but
Yeah.
it's incredibly complex to the frock and how you've been able to get the right texture is quite remarkable. That's skill beyond skill, if I may say so. It is quite remarkable, quite remarkable. And I have seen, of course, I have seen examples of your work, as you say, in Tudor Street,
Yes.
and I was overruled by it. I really was overruled by it. This is quite remarkable, and you are, in many ways, quite unique. Why, it's such an honor to have you here. This is quite unique, and I hope that that we were able to see more of your work. I was going to take this one. I think this is the last one. We might just spend a moment on this one. Then we go back to Lady Chelsea.
Okay.
What's this person we're depicting?
This is nickel-plated work, and it was commissioned. So, you know, paid for and everything. So that gives me license to kind of get overexcited with what I do. It was for a museum in Germany, and they wanted something about Namibia. And this is a Herero woman. And, you know, I haven't never been to Namibia, but you know, the internet is fantastic. So I researched and decided to make a Herero woman. And Germany did some terrible things in Namibia, and they encouraged these people to wear kind of, you know, frocks that covered their whole body or whatever. But you know, as resilient as people are, they took on this Victorian garment and added a twist to it. And the twist was that women had head ties that they wore, and the head ties would be tied in such a way so that they look like horns. And I found that fascinating, because these people are kind of cattle herders and things, and cattle farmers. And a woman in her prime has quite large, severe horns, and as a woman ages, her horns get smaller and her head tie gets smaller. And although she still has flowing robes, it's almost as if her potency is reduced by the head tie that she wears. And I thought that was rather amusing. But the serious side of this is that there was genocide in this country, and I wanted the audiences that saw their influence of European frock to be reflected in it. I wanted them to see themselves as this person. So I used this form of plating to make my steel shiny. And so you can literally see yourself in it. But the Herero people seem to have some kind of dance where they put up their hands like this. And I just thought this was such a beautiful pose, because there are many instances where, you know, people in Pentecostal churches will show that their hands are clean in church and stuff. So it's quite a moving pose. And I wanted to stop people in their tracks almost by this woman's pose. And the idea is that, you know, Germans should look at their history, because I think they are looking for some kind of absolution. I think they are looking for some kind of grace in, you know, having a museum that wants to look at the culture of their colonies or whatever. But, I also wanted them to remember the kind of genocide and that these were people and these are people. And so the piece is called Looking for Grace.
Looking for Grace. Wow. Powerful, powerful. I must say I was moved when I encountered this particular sculptor. I must say I was moved. I'm not sure why I was moved, but listening to you and the messages you're trying to communicate, I understand why I was moved by it. Truly powerful, truly powerful. And this is life size again.
Yes.
A remarkable piece of work. How on earth you did that, I have absolutely no idea. It's quite remarkable, quite remarkable. Okay, I know that the last picture, I think, this is my favorite. Sorry, here we are. I'll take the last one. This is actually my favorite. Please tell us a little bit about this one. I'm not sure why I like it as much, but I do. But anyway.
Yeah, I can't even remember the title of it, but it's owned by someone, a collector in France. And I did a little series of work about a protest at a flow station in Rivers State. Women in the local area got rather agitated by this flow station. A flow station is somewhere where they just kind of burn off gas and there's soot in the air and the vegetation around gets affected. And in a lush area like Rivers State, you suddenly get a patch of ground that is parched from the heat and pollution. And local women, I think they were farmers, came out to a particular station and decided to protest. And, the thing of protesting in different parts of the world is that over here, we seem to have sponsors and placards that are kind of printed and, photocopied notices and things that are handed out to the protesters. In sort of Nigeria and other places, sometimes all people have is a twig or a bush to shake at whoever they're agitated at. And that's why she's got something like a bush in her teeth, because just show her anger. And what happened in this particular instance is that police of some kind were sent in to kind of get rid of the protesters, and the women stripped. The women took off their clothes and stood in front of the police naked. And I just thought, oh my God, oh my God. And, that is the sort of thing that would stop. And to have, big Nigerian girls facing you and telling you, you are my brother, you are my son. Don't stop me from doing what I'm doing. I think that particular protest, and I'm sorry, I don't remember the name of it, had an effect when I heard about it. And I just thought, wow, yeah, it's protest about oil. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. I knew this one would evoke emotions in you. And I observing it definitely invoked emotions. Yeah. And as I said, all your work are quite remarkable. And as I said, I spent a good few hours studying, and good grief. I'm most impressed. And of course, the last one is this collection I've got here. And we've got each of the names there listed. And each of them, of course, are interesting scenes, which I found quite revealing in some ways. So I see the car, flowers, pom-pom, green oil cans and dates. You might want to tell us something about that one in a second. Or the quantum one-barrel girl, okay. Or the wrestling, is it bull coal oil? Yes,
it's some sort of olive oil.
Aha, I see, gotcha. The wrestling extra barrel, and of course, the wrestling oil shell BP. And of course, the last one we've seen earlier on, Europe supported by Africa and America.
Yeah.
Outstanding collection. How on earth you produce so much, you know?
Yeah.
Your life must be so wonderful. I don't know what to say. It's so wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. But this, if I may, I'm going to actually just highlight two of them. Alice Bands and Eyes Shut. Tell us about that one.
Oh, Alice Bands. Well, I had a little show in London, and it was a state that was kind of quite settled for me, because I wanted to discuss oil and looked up the word oil on the internet just for the test of it, and discovered that olive oil came up as well as crude oil, and the symbols that designers come out with to sell oil products is quite interesting. But I was also thinking quite hard about the fact that everything that I own seems to have petroleum derivative in it, in that the lipstick I wear, my computer keyboard, every bit of plastic that we have around us is from oil. And, you can wear an Alice band on your head, and, it can be made out of anything. But I decided that having something like an Alice band or thoughts in my head, I have little cars on the Alice bands and flowers and things, because I love hibiscus and frangipani flowers especially. And it's just stating the fact that I realize these polluting things are in my environment, and I use them, and I'm as guilty as everybody else. And it's just, trying to get more of a grip on my life. But the description or the state of me is that my eyes are shut, and I'm pretending it's not happening, that I'm not using these products and stuff. And that's what Alice Bands and
fascinating.
Shut
So
Eyes
each
is
of these
about.
I know have
We all
got
know
interesting
that we
stories.
shut our eyes.
All canned, green oil canned and dates.
Yeah.
Are flowers pom pom.
Yeah, you continue and enjoy life, and we're polluting it. Pom pom.
Wow.
Quite mad.
These are magnificent. And of course, the last one here, of course, we've got here on here. Oh, is it going to come up? Oh, it's not going to come up. Okay. Last one I've got here for you is, of course, this picture, which is magnificent in its own right.
This is younger days.
Thank you for that explanation. That was really very illuminating. And I'm sure it stimulated interest out there amongst the audiences, I'm going to hand you back to Lady Chelsea. You may have a question, Lady Chelsea.
Yeah, just one. I just want to know if you were prepared to or if you already are mentoring anyone for this artistic expression. Is there anyone that you have there that wants to do what you're doing, you're helping them, or you would like to do that?
No.
No.
But I do I talk to younger people, just because they're there.
Yeah.
But I don't teach. I lecture from time to time, but I appreciate young folk, but my work is risky. So I don't have anyone in my studio or anything like that, because it's dangerous.
Okay. That's understandable.
So what you're really saying is that you'd be happy to teach, but you need to be able to be protected because of the nature of the artistic work and how you're working with with fire and you hot metals. It is inherently dangerous. Yeah, I completely understand. I don't know if you produce these masterpieces. I have no idea. I'd love to observe how you actually do it, but good grief. The intricacies in some of these works are of such a high caliber. Good gosh. And you are creating or have created a tradition. Okay. And we hope that the next generation will follow your lead, you know. And I suspect, if I may be so bold, that there are quite a number of younger persons present who are observing this and are now being inspired by your works. I am convinced that is the case. Okay. And I'm quite confident that is the case. And if no one's ever told you that, let me tell you that for certain. The intricacies of your work are just beyond, it's mind-blowing, you know. And the work supported by African America example that I can see on my screen right now is a good example of that. That must have taken you a good year or two, but you're going to say it took a month, I suppose. How long did it take you to produce that one? Can I ask you?
I think a couple of months.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That is quite something. I see that we've got the callers back again, and 2911. Are you able to say anything, or are you out and about at the moment, just listening? Or just listening? Don't worry, just listening. In fact, I've received a message from this caller, and what he says is, good morning, great to see the metal artwork based on Botticelli. Yes, and you mentioned Botticelli earlier on.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is interesting. I suppose, if I may, I suppose it'd be in terms of commissioning you. How does one commission you to do a piece of work, and where are your works currently being exhibited?
You'd commission me by coming in and having a conversation, or going through my gallery, the October Gallery. Mm-hmm. And at the moment, I have an exhibition at Westminster City Offices, which is near Victoria Station. And if you take the 148 bus, you can actually see all the world is now richer on the mezzanine floor of their offices. But this exhibition will be open from the 4th, which is Monday. And I think it's going to be at their offices till January. If you are in Holland, I have work in Art Zuid, which is on the streets in Amsterdam. I'm part of an exhibition there. And I have exhibitions in other places as well at the same time. Breaking the Mold, which is an exhibition about sculptures by women since 1945, which is a touring exhibition. And this is at Lakeside Arts, Nottingham. And it's fantastic to be included in a show like that, because it's women since 1945. Mm-hmm. And I have other works in the Netherlands and Germany on at the moment.
Thank you. And of course, you have a website. Do you want to give us the details of your website?
Oh my goodness, I never know what my website is.
I'll give it out for you then. Don't you worry, I'll give it out. So the website address, it's www.sokari.co.uk. And I'll spell
That's right.
I'll spell it, don't you worry. I'll spell SOKARI to make sure there's no misunderstanding. It's S for sugar, OKARI.
Yes.
.co.uk, and much of your work is available on your website. Okay?
Yes.
So it's, as I said, and of course you can Google and so on, but it is absolutely a magnificent website. Okay. Now, I'm very conscious that, as I said, you don't live far from myself, and you know I'm a local politician. Okay, and following the more recent changes to road priorities in Southwark, indeed across London, there are certain roads in my ward which are only which are no longer through routes for commuter traffic, which have now become released for local people to enjoy fully. I use the slogan, we've now reclaimed local roads for local people, because they're no longer through roads. There's a road near you, I understand, Browning Street, which used to have just over 10,000 cars every 2 to 3 hours proceeding through Browning Street, because there was a cut route between the Old Kids Road and Kennington Road. Okay, it's no longer the case. It is now a serene environment. Okay, but it's a very wide road, and I believe with a bit of creative thought processes, partial pedestrianisation, I'm sure, we could put plants, tables, and chairs. And I wonder if we should not be commissioning some of your artwork for exhibition right there in the middle of my ward. Wouldn't that be fantastic?
That would be nice. That would be nice.
Oh, very, very nice.
Yeah.
An action from this show. Okay.
Wonderful.
Let's see if we can make that happen. And then secondly, following on from Lady Chelsea's question to you as regards mentoring and so on.
Yeah.
I completely understand what you're saying, that you don't mentor and you are concerned about health and safety, and we need to think very carefully about that. But just to be clear, though, you are not averse if a young person who is now thinking about art and has been inspired by your work wants to become one of your, would welcome the opportunity to be tutored by you, would you be averse to that idea?
No, I wouldn't.
Very good. That's all right. That's all I want you to say.
Yeah.
Let's see what happens.
Always happy to talk and
I'm sure.
Listen.
Again, I completely understand the health and safety considerations and the insurance and so on. So I completely get that.
Yeah, don't want to burn anyone's child.
No. I completely get that, and I completely understand what your cautiousness, and I need to think that through, but it's another follow through, I believe, that I need to consider, because again, these shows are all not discussions, these are action shows from which we will see a material change as a result. Okay.
Very exciting, Martin.
Very
exciting.
Thank you. And then my last bit for you is this. I would hope that this is Black History Month across Britain, that your work, you've given a few examples of where your works are. If I can ask you after the show to send all those details of where you're exhibiting, and I will give a big shout out at our next show, my next week, okay? So where you can see where your works are currently being exhibited, okay?
Yes.
I want to encourage those who are listening to go see for yourself, because these are not minarets. These are life-size pieces of work.
Some of them are small. Some of them are small.
Oh, some are small, but I've only ever seen the large ones. And I'm, how on earth you produce these pieces of work, which are incredibly complex? I'm just bowled over. I'm really bowled over, and I'm receiving quite a few texts and WhatsApp messages from people who are simply absorbing. You know, they don't want to ask you directly questions. Apparently, they're just absorbing what you're saying. And good grief! So I know for certain, but that night follows day, that you have stimulated the artistic zeal in a number of young persons who've made contact this morning, and I'm really, really bowled over by the impact you've had.
Oh, thank you.
Our time is now up.
Yeah.
Anything you want to say to us? Anything you want to say to us in conclusion?
I want to congratulate you for your enthusiasm and for catching me and so many other people to be heard by the community. So I'd really like to thank you for that. And yeah, I'm grateful for the exposure to my local community. Yeah, that's what I'd like to say. Thank you.
It's our pleasure. Lady Chelsea, sorry, just
No, it's okay. Yeah, no, just thank you for coming, and your work is amazing. I'm very impressed with everything. I've never seen anything like it, especially with the metal, as To Motivate keeps saying, which is very impressive. So thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Right.
Thank you very much for your time this morning and being our first guest during Black History Month. Thank you. Long may you continue to go from strength to strength.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Take care.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Thank you. Wow. Now, wasn't that outstanding?
Yeah, no, it really was.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so most of these, what you're seeing, are life size, you know. And I do understand her concern. I've seen part of a workshop. It is sort of very dangerous equipment.
I'm sure. Yeah.
Very dangerous equipment. And you see hot metals being poured and so on. And I completely get it. She most probably been burned before, as it were. I completely understand her concern about that, and because you need to have appropriate insurance, of course, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm going to think of a way. So I'm going to give a shout out to any young person out there who would like to master the skill of using metal as your artistic expression. We would like to hear from you, okay? And we'll put you in touch with SOKARI, but we need to think about your safety, because that's what she's primarily concerned with, okay? Because she's not averse to teaching, but she's very concerned about the health and safety side. And so we just need to come up with solutions for that, because you've got to indemnify someone against you becoming hurt. But I know that in order to gain these shapes, you can see, requires manipulating hot metals, and that's what you can. So it's not one for children, most certainly young adults. And someone who's at least got some skills and have been trained in health and safety in terms of how to be around metals and manipulating metals, you know. So it's an interesting one to behold. But nevertheless, once you get past that phase, to produce works of this caliber would be outstanding. And I'll take you along, Lady Chelsea, and we can see some of these life-size exhibition pieces that she's produced. Because she had been at the Southwark Council's headquarters in Tudor Street. She had an exhibition there. And I have to tell you, she said they were all as tall as me. And I just assumed, and this is this part of me, and I still get over, that it was some man produced it with bulging muscles, you know, because these are heavy pieces of work, you know. I just assumed it was a man with bulging muscles, only to see this wonderful petite woman, African woman, you know, with bright eyes, full of creative energy, you know. And I was just bowled over. I said, wow, you know. Wow, you can never make assumptions, you know. never make assumptions. So she is absolutely magnificent. I cannot stop expressing my admiration for her. And it's a good start for Black History Month. You know? How did you feel? What was your impression of her?
No, it's really impressive. It was like, I haven't really got into like artists, stuff like that. I've done any kind of like art, I think, from secondary school. So it's really nice to see like the pieces of art and the meaning behind it and her being able to describe it and her passion behind every single piece of art. It was really interesting. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I was aware that there was a story behind each
exactly.
that you'd be able to describe, which is why I put up on screen. It was definitely,
it made sense.
I've heard her speak in other places, and it was such a rich experience that good gosh, it's truly inspiring, and I look forward to other young people learning from her, from our community, learning from her how to express our history using metal, you know, and she gave some very moving expressions, you know, and it's so true, absolutely so true, and that last example from Namibia, for example, was another example of a piece of work which is absolutely magnificent. Because a friend of mine in Germany took a picture of it, you know, some time ago, and that's why I was familiar with it, you know. So to actually hear the artist speak about it, the sculptor speak about it, good gosh, you know. Oh yeah, you know. Oh dear. A truly a wonderful experience, a wonderful experience. And I'm on a high. If I was on a high at the beginning of the show, I am truly on a high now.
Yeah, that's good.
And I can only hope that she continues her work for another 100 years. She's over another millennial. Oh,
of course.
Good God, you know. I look forward to this, and I'm really quite infused. And we've got to keep thinking about continue the theme for Black History Month. That those who appear inspire, you know, those who appear move people to action. Those who appear provide a really pure sense of what it is to be an African or Black person, either living in Africa, the Caribbean, or here in Europe, you know, and express that through their works, you know. So there's a whole series of interesting guests coming up for this month who are and will be inspiring. Okay. Okay. Although I'm looking at you, you're still cold, are you?
Yeah. I have a cold as well. I know the windows are so frosty. I know it's cold today. So I can't see out the window.
Oh dear. Don't worry.
I'm warmer than before, if that helps.
Get better. And I'm just thinking about the other events that will be organised during Black History Month. And I'd encourage people who want to go to events. Most councils who are continue to fund Black History Month on their websites will have details of the events. So I know my own borough of Southwark, go to the Southwark Council website. If you just put in the word search engine, Southwark, then + Black History Month, and that will take you to the relevant pages, okay? And all those who are putting on exhibitions or events during Black History Month would appear on the Southwark Council's website. I'm really proud that Southwark remains one of those boroughs that continues to honour and respect the fact that African peoples are an integral part of the community, and to debunk the myth, the anti-African propaganda or Afrophobia that pervades British society, that an entire month is devoted to activities that celebrate and give light to the rich history, language and traditions and culture that is Africa and its peoples, both from the Caribbean, from the continent, and indeed who reside here in Britain. Okay, so I want to give a good rise up to Southwark Council and Southwark councillors for continuing to support and to fund for Black History Month. Thank you very much. And the lead cabinet member is Alice MacDonald. I want to give a quick shout out to Councillor Alice MacDonald for ensuring Black History Month continues again this year. And of course, to the leader of Southwark Council, Kieran Williams, thank you very much for continuing to support Black History Month. There you are. Our time is approaching now. I can say to everyone, thank you for your listening ear. This has been tremendous, absolutely tremendous, and long may these examples continue. Okay, we are and will be our change makers. Okay, there you go. Thank you, Lady Chelsea.
Okay, thank you.
Get well.
Thank everyone. I'll try.
And if you don't know, but hold on,
Take care, everyone. Be powerful. Be powerful. And if you're not powerful, think to someone who is. And share some of their power.
I know it ain't easy, but hang on in there.
I'm just going to dance for a little while. Oh, I feel so good.
You see,